The new UN resolution aiming to end the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah is in place, but what's the Arab world reaction to that agreement, and can it all work? For some insight, we're joined by MSNBC analyst Raghida Dergham in New York. She is also senior diplomatic correspondent with El Hayat newspaper. Good to see you this morning. Hello.
Good to see you, Chris. How are you?
Let me see if I can make simple what these complications potentially are for this resolution. Nasrallah comes on TV this morning and he says, yes, we accept it, but we have the right to defend ourselves. Israel, in the meantime, continues to step up its campaign, moving ground forces deeper, helicoptering in large number of troops into southern Lebanon. They aren't going to quit at least until tomorrow night, maybe Monday. And in the meantime, Israel is looking for this UN force to go in. We know the number, 15,000. We don't know exactly what the structure is, what types of units are going to be going in there. How complicated is getting all of this to come together?
Well, it's actually not that complicated. It is about intentions. I think what we should expect is an escalation from now until there is a declaration of the commencement of the cessation of hostilities by the UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. This is he could only do that after he receives formal acceptance by the government of Israel and, of course, by the government of Lebanon that they are willing to cease hostilities. This is the expression and not cessation. This is not about a ceasefire yet. But at any rate, this escalation is expected, I think, because everybody wants to seal their success. And then once the commencement of the cessation of hostilities begins, then at that point, one is expected to have exactly what Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah said, that they will adhere to the decision to bring about the process of the withdrawal of the Israeli forces and the replacement of these forces by the Lebanese army together with the United Nations force, which has been enhanced, which is called UNIFIL, but now it's a very powerful force that will go in there.
Yeah, I thought one of the really interesting things that Kofi Annan had to say yesterday, Raghida, was that he believes that the UN's failure to act sooner on this has, quote, badly shaken the world's faith in the United Nations. What do you know, what have you been hearing about the Arab world's view toward the United States and the UN concerning this resolution?
The Arab world is largely welcoming this development. After all, this destruction has been, in this very case, mostly of Lebanon. And they would like that Lebanon gets a break out of this terrible war, except for Iran and Syria, who have expressed reservations. They're not very happy with the resolution. Mostly everybody is really happy about this resolution. Now, remember, both, in a way, Chris, if you permit me, I think this war has two losers, Israel and Hezbollah. Both need bailing out. And that is why one would hope that they will adhere to the cessation of hostilities and that they both will cooperate in bringing about the replacement of both forces in the south of Lebanon through the Lebanese Authority. If there is a winner, if there is, it may be the sovereignty of the state of Lebanon because of this resolution, but at a very dear cost, of course.
Yeah, huge cost, and we haven't even talked about the rebuilding. But I want to go back to what started all this, and this was the taking of Israeli soldiers as captives. And this really doesn't deal with that. This resolution doesn't deal with that, does it?
Because that had to be a compromise. That these negotiations were intense. You have no idea how hard everybody worked to get this resolution. It doesn't make it weaker. It, in fact, is a very strong resolution, though it is not under Chapter 7. A lot of my colleagues just thought that, okay, there is no Chapter 7, that means it's not binding, everybody is going to interpret it as they wish, it's not going to be powerful. But listen, there is about 32,000 troops going to the south of Lebanon to make sure there is no Hezbollah activity there and there is no Israeli occupation there. And that is really the whole international community finally coming to grips with what they had to be really facing. That's why they left for later on, the issues of the soldiers, the issues of the Shib'a farms. This is to be dealt with Kofi Annan later on in order to bring, the ceasefire. Remember, there is a political structure in place, and Kofi Annan is going to really be working hard for the next couple of weeks to make sure that this really becomes a real sustainable ceasefire.
Raghida, thanks so much. Always good to talk to you.
Thank you, Chris.